It's very important that we understand the emotions that God has for us when we want to share His good news with people. All right, and I got this from Luke 15 verse 20. There's a teacher named Mike Bickle who teaches this a lot, and it's very powerful when we allow this to really penetrate our heart and see how God not only sees us, but how He sees the world. First thing that we see in Luke 15:20 is that there is a lost son. And that lost son, God sees him. God is looking for him. Every day the Father is looking for His Father. And that's the first thing I want you to realize, is that God sees us. In our good times and our bad times, He is looking out after us. He desires us. He wants us. This is the emotion that God has for us. And not only that, He has great compassion on us. He has great mercy. He has great love. The word compassion means with suffering. And we see the ultimate suffering in God becoming a man, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for us and poured out all His blood, all His life, all His water, everything He had for us. He took all the suffering, all the sin, all the brokenness, everything of the world upon Him because He loves us, because He sees us. So we've got to see people, we've got to listen to them, we've got to have compassion on them, but we've also got to realize that God pursues us. God goes after us. We love God because He first loved us, and He came to seek and to find that which was lost and to give His life as a ransom for many. So when we realize that it's God going after us, that we as our church, if we want to look like Jesus, are not called just to have people come to us, but that we go to people like Jesus spoke of the Good Shepherd leaving the 99 behind and going after the one lost. That's what God does, and that's what He calls us to do as well. And not only that, but we're called to embrace people. The problem with judging people is that when you point one finger at a person, you've got three pointing back at you. And Jesus, again, He said, I did not come to condemn the world, but to save the world. And the Father embraces the Son, the lost son. And the lost son stinks. He hasn't showered. He's been with pigs. He's disgusting. But the Father does not look at his sin. He says, this is my treasure, my son, my beloved. And this is how we can look at the people around us, the people in this world. We should not condemn them, reject them, but by the grace of God, embrace them the way that God embraces us. And then the last one is God kisses us. And this is so beautiful. In the book of Song of Solomon, it says, let Him kiss me with the kisses of His mouth. Now, I'm not speaking about literally kissing people with your mouth. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that the Jewish rabbis would say that is the words of God touching our hearts. Because the Bible says man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. And when we realize that God's words are like kisses that come and touch our hearts and change us from the inside out, then we realize, hey, this is what power evangelism looks like. It means that when we share the love and the power of God and share what God's done in our lives, we're believing that God's going to use us so that we can communicate His emotions, that God sees them, that God feels them, that God desires them, that God embraces them, loves them just the way they are. But His love doesn't leave us the way we are. And that His kisses, His words, change us, and that we can hear at the heart, the core of our being, the words that say, you are my beloved child. I love you.